Good morning. We're here at Fantastic Fest with a couple of creeps to talk about some tapes. Welcome, guys.
Who you calling creep? So
A creep knows creep.
Creep no creep.
Creep no creep. Oh my God, this is going to be a good day. I'm very excited. Has anyone ever told you you have a really nice, kind face?
I've been waiting my whole life.
Yeah. So this is brilliant because it kind of lends itself, the concept of creep tapes, to endless stories, but also endless characters. Do you find, do you sometimes have too many ideas? Like, did you have just kind of overflow for season 1 where you're like, okay, we already have a million ideas for season 2 because you can only fit so much in a season?
We have overflow for season 1 and 2. And I mean, there's a Google Doc, a very sacred Google Doc that gets passed back and forth between Mark and I that has kind of endless ideas at this point. Some of those were ideas that we had for Creep 3 that ended up in episodes of the Creep tapes. But yeah, it's the many different avenues we can explore with this.
Yeah, and I would like to say that we designed it that way, but it really was something we almost sort of discovered after we started making this, that like, we have the latitude to make this thing last forever because of the things you just described. My character has watched so many movies over and over again on VHS. He does not know what is real, what is his life, what is Forrest Gump. And he's so happy shape-shifting and inhabiting those characters in order to get and give love. It's the perfect recipe for, ideally a Seinfeld level number of episodes. Ideally, when you go on vacation with your family on TBS 30 years from now, they'll just be running the Creep Tapes episodes all night long.
But the different costumes and the sort of hair journey that Mark's character goes through in these episodes, that is something that we didn't expect we were going to have to reckon with when we first came up with the show. It's just been like, oh, yeah, you get to sort of... And also, like, having to plan that out with our shooting schedule too, of like, Mark, you can't shave your beard because we're going into that's goatee week. Okay?
Mark, you're gonna have to show up at the Emmys in which you're nominated for the morning show with this massive mustache that we need for the episode. It's great.
Yeah, if you watch any of the press footage from the Emmys last year of Mark, he has the mustache from the skydiver episode the whole time, and it was great because like.
People were like, dig the stash, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You're just walking the red carpet dressed to the nines, and you're like, just trying out a new look. Just
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah.
When you're creating kind of these different personas for your character, do you ever just sit down and start doing weird things with your hair and then kind of play with like mannerisms? Like, is that how that's born?
Usually the mannerisms and things happen sort of naturally on set, and they're born out of the conversations with me and Patrick and Chris, who's like our third partner in this, who's our editor and producer. But the hair and the beard conversations are big because you have to get the order of the episodes right, So usually each season begins with growing out the fodder. As much hair as I can get, as much beard as I can get. And then we're like, okay, well, we can dye the hair for this episode. Then we'll cut it. Then we'll shave it into sideburns. Then we can shave it down to this and try and construct it in such a way that we get maximum amount of looks. And the good news is we don't do a shoot like a normal TV shoot where we just go ahead and shoot for 6 weeks. We're so busy doing other things in our lives that we try to steal 4 days at a time throughout the year in which we can shoot an episode. So we just go rent a cabin somewhere. We all go stay at the cabin where we're shooting, live together, and kind of, figure it out as we go.
I love that, though, because I feel like it stays true to the nature of how this was born in the first place. Absolutely. And I also love that you have to approach the hair like harvest season. Like you have to grow your crops. And then it's time to harvest it.
No, and I can say
crop rotation is also important. Yeah.
I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. It's a Fangoria hair-related exclusive, but there is an episode where Mark did cut his own hair that I'm very excited about in particular. So just different places
just
to go.
be ready. Yeah.
A Fangoria hair exclusive. We are all about that. I would prefer to have all hair exclusives across
my phone's blowing up. It just it's out. It's out.
It's on
guys.
deadline.
Yeah.
It's live. It's out there. What has been the most fun persona for you to play? Do you have like a standout?
That's a really good question. The fun of these episodes is usually less about the character that I'm playing this has almost become more about process than product for me. You know, like Patrick spends a lot of his time developing these big budget horror movies for Netflix and such. I spend a lot of my time acting in these bigger budget things. The true fun and value of this is I'm going to get together with people that I love and trust. Someone new is going to come into our fold, David Dastmalchian, someone, and we're going to get to know them like summer camp. And we shoot like 6 to 8 hours a day, so we have all this extra time to like hang out and learn from each other. Then some story will come up and we'll use it in the episode. So it's really just like the sense of being like 13 years old, picking up your parents' video camera and like snickering like little kids, and we're going to go make something. When you combine that with all of our collective experience in filmmaking, that sort of is the sweet spot of the show.
Do you guys do a lot of riffing? Because you're also working with guys like David and Josh Rubin, who doesn't do improv at all, I don't think. But do you guys just, and you're friends with these people, so do you get together and just start like, this is the script, but do you do just a ton of improv and just riffing back and forth before you go to shoot?
I would say there's less improv, especially with the show. You know, we're working from scripts on these episodes more so than outlines as we've done previously in the past. And part of that is just because we have such a consolidated amount of time to shoot these. Like, for the most part, there are 3 days of shooting, but some of them are 2 days of shooting. I think the David episode actually might even just have been 2 days of shooting.
Yep.
And so, you know, we are, of course, allowing the space for improv and being able to, like, hopefully zig where we need to previously thought we were going to zag. But, like, I would say, you know, it's a healthy balance of those things.
And the improvisation comes in different ways. Because it's found footage, you're normally shooting it as a oneer, and you don't have the ability to edit later on. So what happens is a lot of that, the rewriting and the pacing of a scene happens right on set. We'll do a take, and we're like, that felt too long. Oh, you actually rushed this part. That's a pregnant pause we could have done more of. And you can't possibly know that until you get there in the moment. I think David is a great example of someone who really holds the screen well. So, you know, there's a scene with me and him in the bathroom where we were able to play pregnant pauses a lot longer than we thought. And because I'm holding the camera at that point, I can specifically let my body pace it out when I want to pan off, when I want to say the next line. So that's kind of where the improv and the finding it comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything, but I will say David, I think, plays one of my favorite characters that I've ever seen in this universe. You guys have a lot of fun with that?
Thank you.
We did. We were a little nervous to be self-referential because we've never had a franchise before, and we still have trouble calling this a franchise. But
guys, just breaking news, this is a franchise.
It's a franchise.
Yes, okay.
At this point.
Oh, my phone just blew up again. It's a franchise. But yeah, it was freeing to do it.
Oh, absolutely. And to do it with someone who, like, we completely trusted as an actor, we knew was so versatile, and like, because like obviously he's become like a scream king at this point.
Yeah.
But also I remember seeing him in Prisoners for the first time and being like, who the fuck is that guy? Yeah. Walking out of that movie with that guy who's like in the movie for 10 minutes, and it's just, his face is just undeniable.
Yeah.
And so for that to know that we're working with someone who's so highly skilled, but is also an incredibly sweet, open person who's down with the process of making these, which is we're all living together in the house that we're shooting together. We're literally like bunking up together, and is totally fine with going that deep and intimate and close that quickly, and is actually like also excited by it, and sees the virtue and the joy about working that way. It's just a dream, and that's instinct. You know, I mean, Mark and I didn't actually know David before we shot the episode. He sat next to my wife and I at the premiere of the Creep Tape season 1. And I have this vivid memory of this moment at the last episode of the first season, where with Krisha Fairchild playing Mark's character's mom, in the last scene where the audience is totally quiet, and then David just leans over to me past my wife and goes, "You guys are so fucked up."
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, "We're casting you."
He's one of us.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought you were going to say that you leaned over and you're like, but that's even better.
Basically, that was the subtext for sure.
Well, he's like, you guys are fucked up, and you're like, yes, let's do this.
Let's go.
No, it's a really fun episode for super fans who have been with the franchise since the beginning. So it is very much, and David is incredible. So it's very cool to see you guys kind of sparring a little bit and sharing that space. It's a really, really cool moment. You guys have worked with some incredible guest appearances. Do you have some bucket list people that you would love to get in that you don't have for season 1 and 2 yet?
It's really interesting that when we talk about casting, because one of the things we've loved about the show, and one thing that Patrick and I just believe in, is like giving people their shot, and when you're doing a found footage show, you have every excuse in the world to cast someone who is non-famous and give them a chance to break out. And you should, is kind of what we feel. And it also works for the show because we want it to feel anonymous. Right. I actually don't want people watching the show being like, oh my God, Laura Linney is here. We want them in that moment.
I was going to say Laura Linney,
but I do want to kill Laura Linney. So we feel conflicted about this.
She's top of your list, but for the art, it's not, it doesn't serve the art, but it serves your wish list.
Even with like we were self-conscious about that. Even casting someone like David, who has this persona and this sort of like this history that comes along with him. We hopefully we were taking that history and putting it to good use and making that work within our universe. But I think, that bucket list is more like maybe friends who aren't super famous actors, but we know would be incredible in this situation.
Like you'll see our friend Taylor Guerin in an episode, who's a young creator who I made a micro budget film with her, about 5 or 6 years ago. She's incredible. We've been developing a TV show with her. Like, she is one of the most talented people that has not broken out yet. What more perfect place for her to shine than to get a starring role in the Creep Tapes, and we have control over casting. We can do whatever we want. So it's really cool.
That is such a cooler answer, and I appreciate that so much more than having just like a laundry list of all the people that you want to go after. That's awesome.
I mean, look, Walken turned us down. So what are we going to do?
I think there's still hope. I don't know. I was here last year for the secret screening, which was Creep Tapes season 1, and it was awesome. And you guys have been very vocal about equal opportunity nudity. You'd like to champion this. Is this something that you're going to implement in season 2?
I mean, I'm always pitching.
Yeah. It's more Mark pitching and me saying, is that really necessary for this episode? I don't know.
Like, can't we be gratuitous if I'm the creator? Like, if it's me, is it gratuitous? But in all seriousness, it was like, it's not a manifesto of ours, but like, if there's anything that has been, exploitative in the past in the horror genre, it has been putting female nudity forward gratuitously. We all know this. We joke about it. It's real. So we thought if we're going to go any direction that happens to be creatively germane to my character, who, like a little boy, just likes to get naked so that he can get attention, we can use that all day long. And I think there's something also fun about like putting someone forward, front and center, naked, that the audiences are not necessarily clamoring to see naked, is also very part and parcel with our process. So
I don't know. I mean, you also just did like a sexy Fango cover, or Peachfuzz. There's a sexy Peachfuzz Fango cover.
That was not our decision. That was not our decision. When that image was sent back to us as this is going to be the cover, I was like, I always wanted to be shirtless on the cover of a magazine, and if it's not going to be 17, it's going to be Fangoria.
But I'm telling you, people were clamoring for it, so I don't know.
All right. We'll take it.
It felt like a peak. It felt like a watershed moment.
Yeah, it was a watershed
moment.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I really liked it season 1 because we have this character that we're going with throughout this franchise, and all these different personas. We don't ever really get a look at a backstory, and that's fine. Except at the end of season 1, you kind of surprised us with like the mom, and we're getting a little bit of a backstory, and maybe this is why this person is the way that they are. In season 2, do we get any more of a kind of look at the lore a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, without giving anything away specifically, we definitely will be delving back into that. And that was really fun in the first season to play in that area. But also, even within that episode, and I realize this is probably frustrating for people that are trying to grasp for something solid in terms of backstory with this character, we wanted to leave things open that everything that he could be saying is not true whatsoever.
I would add a wrinkle to that. Everything that he says is true. It's not always factual.
I was going to say, it's true to him. He believes it fully,
But
wholeheartedly.
there is a truth in some circuitous way to everything he says and does, for sure.
Incredible. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations. I'm excited to finish the season. I loved the first couple of episodes, and I'm looking forward to watching
so
it.
much.
You guys nailed it. Crushing this franchise game. Killing it.
As you can tell, we're very comfortable in franchise land. We're very comfortable.
Fantastic hair, fantastic franchise. Amazing. We're having a fantastic time. Thank you guys.
Thank you.